A small distance away, several horses whinny. The sound resonates in Rosner's ear like an eager fly. He turns on his side and tries to zone them out, to no avail. Annoyance pulls him off his straw mattress. A small growl follows. It takes Rosner a second to recognize the noise, but when he does, he smiles. Curled on one of the cloth blankets is their lazy old hound, Casey. She must have snuck into his room during the night. Rosner ruffles her ears with a small, slightly calloused hand. "Hey, girl." He throws on a white cloth shirt that is too wide for his thin frame and a pair of similarly large brown cloth pants. He takes a thin rope from the top of a dresser and ties it around his waist to hold them up. He takes one last look at Casey, still sprawled out on his bed, and walks out. Rosner passes his brother's room across from his, and his sisters and parents across from each other, not 5 steps down the hall, and veers to the left, entering the kitchen. He makes a direct approach for the bread, rips off a piece, and continues outside. As he steps across the threshold, a cool, gentle breeze greets him. The damp air coming off the sea presses against his skin and his clothes, making them stick to him in the faintest way possible. The rainfall of last night still lingers, as most do when Mars first awakes from her slumber. Ryomar is always a period of constant rain. Above him, the life-giver continues her slow ascent, casting a brilliant array of reds, yellows, and oranges across a cloudless sky, her warmth like that of a mother's loving embrace. Hearing another short burst of whining, Rosner turns to his right and leans on a wooden post holding up the porch overhang. He brings the bread to his lips, but smiles before he takes a bite. A stone's throw away stands most of the family's revenue, the stables. His mother transports materials and goods between the local towns for what most would consider a fair price. Not only that, but from what Rosner has seen, among the few that do transport goods, she is the most respectable and most respected, although it is hard to tell whether some respect or just fear her. She does not back down easily, nor is she afraid to end a deal with someone. Rosner tears another piece off the bread and jogs through the grassy field over to one of the stable windows. Inside, he spots his mother struggling to harness Sandstone, a dirty white mare who tends to give them a little trouble. Next to her, the beautiful brown mare they call Creekbed waits patiently, already harnessed to the wagon. Besides her calm demeanor, Rosner has always liked Creekbed's white strip that travels between her eyes and down to her nose. Next to his mother, Sandstone throws her head again and pulls away. After helping his mother for the couple of years that he has, he knows at this rate that she is not going to accomplish anything without help. Rosner shakes his head before he jumps away from the window and darts around to the front and pulls the stable door open. He swears. Now and then, Sandstone can be the most difficult thing to deal with. His mother glances over her shoulder at the new arrival. "Was wondering when you would show up," she says with a smile. "Now help me with the stubborn mare." Rosner smiles in return and strides over to her and puts a hand on Sandstone's neck. After a few hand strokes, the horse calms down enough for his mother to put the halter on. As this happens, his mind drifts to the back of the stable where Mason and Twig sit across the aisle from each other. The 2 stallions watch them for a little, then seem to lose interest and go back to eating the hay in their stalls. Rosner looks back at his mother and sees the familiar love in her eyes as she steps away from the horse. She's a strict woman, when need be, but all around kind and forgiving, usually only for family though, even if they test her. She has no tolerance for ignorance outside it, however. While his mother wipes an arm across her forehead, Rosner sneaks another piece of bread. "Now that we all have that done," Rosner feels his mother's eyes bear down on him while he chews. As he looks up, he slows his jaw to a stop and carefully moves the remaining bread behind his back. He watches her hands go to rest on her hips and feels the weight of them pushing down on him. When she opens her mouth, her words balance on the edge of annoyance and peace. Did you already raid the kitchen? He stays quiet, but the silence does not last long. The guilt consumes him. Unable to stop himself, he blurts out, "It was only a piece of bread," and holds out the bread. When this does not change his mother's expression, he returns it to his back, defeated. His mother shakes her head and sighs. You have known 15 of Esturm's reigns, and still you raid the kitchen. She pauses for a moment, looking as though she is considering what she just said. Seconds later, she smiles and confesses, and the gods know you, or your siblings, are not about to stop. Let us get you all fed, and then we can start the day. While Rosner heads to the kitchen directly right of the front door, his mother continues to walk down the hall to wake his siblings. As he sits down, his father enters the room. The large man stands just inches below the top of the door. With a shaved head topping a clean-cut face, he looks down at his son. Where's your mother? His deep voice unsettles Rosner. It is one thing to have a deep voice, but his father's has sort of a menacing tone to it. She's waking Kedorik and Asra, father, Rosner answers. He grunts. They should have been up a long while ago. Rosner watches his father grab a lump of bread and a piece of dried meat before heading out. As he does, Kedorik and Asra walk in. Their mother is close behind with Casey at her heels. The hound starts sniffing the air before she even enters the room, searching for food. As the siblings find their seats, he stares after their father, despite not being able to see him anymore. Why does father do that? Kedorik asks, staring at where their father stood. Their mother walks over to him and ruffles his short, dark brown hair, a sad smile on her lips. Only the gods know the answer to that, dear. Soon the smell of egg fills everyone's nostrils and their stomachs right after, alongside bread from the loaf Rosner snagged from earlier. When everyone is done, their mother asks, Are you ready, Rosner? Wiping his mouth, Rosner replies, Yes, Ma. He scoots himself from the table to wash his dish. Asra, who has witnessed Mars's reign twice less than Rosner, looks at their mother through a thick curtain of brown hair and asks which horses she has taken. A short, humored laugh escapes their mother. Rosner watches her walk over to Asra and part her hair with 2 fingers. Both the mares, their mother tells her. Through the parted curtains, Asra frowns. I like the mares, she complains. The stallions still need exercise, Asra. Otherwise, I will never be able to use them. Looking past their mother, Asra peers at Rosner with dirt brown eyes, hoping for a way around this, but he smiles and shrugs. Asra's gaze turns to stone, unfazed by this common occurrence. Rosner matches it, waiting until she softens her features and returns her focus to their mother before he relaxes his own. She tells their mother, I know. Their mother straightens up. Wonderful. Your brother and I will be back before the Life-Giver's kiss in 5 days. The both of you make sure Twig and Mason get exercise. Outside, Rosner and his mother take off at a gentle trot away from their small wooden house and pass under the wooden arch marking their property line. On either side of the vine-infested arch, large pines wrap around the entire plain their house is centered in. Below them, the mare's hooves strike the soft dirt with muffled thuds. The cart jars occasionally as the wheels pop in and out of the wheel ruts from previous trips. Further down, they follow the road to the right, hugging the forest's edge. To their left, a large hill comes right up to the path, as though it's trying to push it over. Halfway down the path, Rosner's eyes traverse the aggressive mound until they reach its crest. There rests a castle older than Tikthrim, the village that it is built around. Renamed Weeping Castle after its rightful name was lost, the stone structure's towers stretch towards Linnell like fingers of a dying soul. championing everything within its sights. Trees, even the castle has outlived, spot the hill, as do their children. Despite the irradiating sorrow from the entire mound, Rosner finds himself attracted to it. Something about it calls to him, like a whisper in the wind. Sometimes more literal than figurative. He feels as though a voice as quiet as the wind on a breezeless day calls his name, pulling him in the castle's direction. Every now and then he follows the voice up the cobblestone path, well taken over by nature, to the castle's giant oak doors. All that is left of the path are small spots of stone here and there, some disappearing completely for a few strides. Just a good stone's throw from the doors is a fountain with a statue of a tall, cloaked man hiding his face beneath a stony hood centered in it. He has never found the guts to open the ancient doors, not that he needs to. When he presses his hand against them, he swears he can hear the castle's history. Parties of glorious proportions, celebrations worthy of song and memory, hushed conversations with secrets that should not be overheard, brawls over women and dignity, and war full of blood and pain. They all flood his memory with beautiful yet painful clarity. One thing he has noted just after his last visit a few days ago is that they seem to tell a story. Not just any story, nothing random from its past. What he has been seeing, feeling, hearing, it seems to be happening in a certain order, from the moment the castle was erected to its demise, and he fears he is getting close to that end. As they draw further away, faint shouts enter his mind and pull him back to reality. Just ahead, the path runs into the main road. On the far side, about 8 wooden buildings make up most of the village. 2 taverns, a butcher's shop, and a handful of houses. As they shorten their distance from the road, the volume of the shouts increases dramatically. To the left, hugging the base of the hill, is a small horde of merchants and local farmers, hunters and the like, all fighting for a spot to set up in the small area. Instead of a collage of yelling, Rosner can now pick out some words of the merchants, calling out to early risers, advertising their wares, and other knickknacks. Although he enjoys watching the merchants fiddle about, he lets his eyes drift to the harbor, just visible over the stands. Merchants that have slept in scurry around the snake's den like the reptiles they are. Ever since the Van Mirain soldiers started to occupy the eastern docks, these snakes have slipped into the village and caused the respected merchants to leave. There were fewer then, but Tikthrim does not have many people to trade with. Those here now mostly sell to the soldiers and the occasional traveler. Word has it those few were threatened, and some even disappeared completely. Now they are left with greedy dealers who offer little for high-quality goods and sell low quality at a premium. A small shudder redirects Rosner's attention back to the cart. His mother halts creek bed and sandstone in front of Casper's cutlery, almost directly across from the path they were on. Leaving Rosner to guard the cart, his mother walks inside. As she disappears through the door and reappears on the other side of the glass window, Rosner spots a soldier stumble out of the forgotten Jinn, the closest building to the harbor, as well as the more popular of the 2 taverns. The tavern tends to find itself full of Van Mirain soldiers night and day. By the way this one is stumbling, it seems like he has been there for a particularly long while. Even from this distance, it seems to Rosner the man is drunker than he can handle. He can hardly manage to keep himself upright, crossing his legs and tripping over nothing as he walks. A small laugh escapes Rosner's lips as he watches. If this is what a soldier of the 7th Army looks like, the army of the High King, then there may be hope for them after all. Or so, that is what he hears. When no soldiers are present, the villagers talk, saying the Van Mirain are the worst plague they have come to witness, that before them there was actual peace and harmony. Now the only reason people do not do things is because of fear. This fool, however, instills no fear in Rosner.